television news organizer.
It often begins with a ringing telephone and a glance at the map. The news story is underway. Sometimes the story is in London, perhaps an interview with a newly arrived statesman, a job for a sound film camera. Just one of the filming assignments repeated many times a day, 7 days a week, at home and abroad, often with BBC reporters who are part of the camera team in television news. Television news has developed in the tradition of BBC sound news, linked closely with Broadcasting House and with the headquarters of BBC News at Egton House nearby. News comes into the newsroom there by day and by night. Often it comes by teleprinter. News agency reports, correspondence dispatches, radio messages, words by the thousand on events across the world. Words weighed carefully before they find a place in the pages of a BBC bulletin. The news story always has a background of urgency. From the moment the camera car returns to Alexandra Palace in North London with film for television news, time begins to enter into everything. Time in processing the roll of film from the camera magazine can mean catching or missing the next edition. Minutes matter in getting the news story on the screen. In a darkened viewing theatre, editors quickly pick out the most important scenes. The news film comes in ceaselessly. A year's intake joined together would stretch for 600 miles. Selection in film news, as in written or spoken news, is the key factor. Big news stories on film have been rushed on the air in 20 minutes after they arrived. This is the editor's task in the cutting room. The sound of events in the news is sometimes recorded on the spot and afterwards played from a disc. Once again, a job with a stopwatch. The dubbing editor deals too with music for news magazine programs. His library holds thousands of recordings. After the music has been chosen, it's recorded on lengths of film coated with magnetic material. This magnetic sound film is synchronized with the film carrying the picture, and both film tracks, as they're called, are transmitted together. Recording sound magnetically is widely used in the dubbing theatre, where the BBC news feature Behind the Headlines is prepared for the screen. All through the day, the news bulletins take shape in the television newsroom. There, the chief sub-editor examines news photos with a senior member of the editorial staff. Sometimes 50 still pictures come in the same day. Pictorial craft of other kinds goes into the news story on television. Caption artists paint, draw and print the maps and diagrams that help to illustrate the news program in the studio. Pictures and words. The scriptwriter works against time as much as anyone in the news team. To help him fit his words to the picture, he has a detailed breakdown on paper of every scene in the film story. He has to get his facts right and present them clearly and quickly. His deadline is near at 10 p.m. In Studio B, the lights come on. The cameras move into place, rehearsals are over, the final order of the program is discussed with the technicians on the studio floor by the producer. The newsreader goes through his script for the last time. The news changes hourly, and editorial decisions keep pace with it. The last film stories are loaded onto the telecine machines that will transmit them. The job of putting television news on the air now comes closely into the hands of the production team in the control gallery above Studio B. The sound mixers, the vision mixers, the secretaries, the producer. Here in the studio where television began 21 years ago, up-to-the-minute news goes on the air several times a night. This is transmission.
Right, going ahead any moment now. Keep it quite quiet, please.
Here is the news. At the London docks, 104 ships are not being worked. That's two more than yesterday. But it looks as though the
3,
strike has
2,
held them up
1, and through.
The news story is on the air. Films like this of Mr. Dulles can be transmitted from negative to save making a print. The picture is changed electronically into printed form and, if possible, improved. The techniques of television in a program that's never really over, for news never stops. A telephone call, a glance at the map, a fresh assignment, and the cameramen go out to get the story for BBC Television News.